Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I'm so glad you're here because honestly, the story we're unpacking today, it is nothing short of wild. On the surface, yeah, it's a popular animated fable about a guy named Karela building a business from the ground up. But when we actually peel back the layers, which is exactly what we're going to do right now, it turns into this incredibly powerful case study. We're talking innovation, total resilience, and, well, navigating some of the absolute darkest sides of human nature. This explainer is going to take you on a complete roller coaster, so get comfortable and let's just jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this. You know, we usually prepare ourselves for outside competition, right? We strategize against rival businesses or worry about the economy. But what happens when your own people become the enemies of your success? Seriously, what do you do when the exact people cheering you on are secretly plotting your downfall? It is a super heavy question. And as you'll see, the way our main character handles it, absolute masterclass in emotional resilience.
So, let's start at the beginning. Chapter 1. Poverty and Taunts.
Picture this. On one side, we've got our main guy, Karela, and he is dealing with just crushing poverty. I mean, sweating through the peak summer heat, staring at literal broken walls, and just watching the debts pile up. Now, on the other side, his neighbor, Tomato, is basically the poster child for flashy success. Brand new house, shiny new car, the whole shebang. And this comparison isn't just about the money, guys. It's about the massive psychological pressure Karela's under. Every single time he looks out his window, it's just this glaring reminder of where he feels he's falling short.
And you know what? That pressure is magnified tenfold the second he walks through his own front door. His wife, Bindi, hits him with this brutal reality check. She says, "Sit around all day and dream. The grain in the house is about to run out." Ouch, right? Instead of having a supportive partner to brainstorm with or lift him up, Karela is just getting hit with constant ridicule. He's totally alone in this struggle, completely stuck in this toxic, unsupportive environment.
Which brings us to the turning point. Chapter 2. The start of the cooling dhaba.
It's funny how inspiration usually hits in the most random, mundane moments. Karela is literally just trying to escape his wife's nagging and the absolute blistering summer heat, so he retreats to this quiet corner of his house next to an old, large water tank. He closes his eyes, feels this slight, refreshing chill coming off the tank compared to the scorching air around him, and boom, a light bulb goes off. He thinks, what if there was a place where people could just go to escape this terrible heat, but without needing super expensive AC, like a sanctuary of cool air?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer ingenuity of his whole business model. Karela doesn't have the cash for some high-tech setup, right? So he relies on low-tech, totally brilliant traditional physics. First step, mud walls for natural insulation. Second step, a breathable grass roof. And the final step, running water right on top of that roof to create this amazing evaporative cooling effect. It is a completely sustainable, cost-effective blueprint for a place that's selling comfort just as much as it's selling food.
But, as we all know, an idea still needs capital. And just in the nick of time, Karela's old, wealthy friend, Alu, rolls up in a flashy car. Alu sees the vision and makes a super tempting offer. He says, "I'll invest the money, you do the hard work." For Karela, this is it. This is the lifeline he so desperately needed. You can practically see the spark return to his eyes as he just dives headfirst into the physical labor, working right alongside the crew to build his dream, the cooling dhaba.
And that takes us to Chapter 3, Success and Jealousy. And this brilliantly illustrates just how crazy fast word of mouth can spread when you actually solve a real problem for people. Look at this timeline. Day 1 is super humble, right? Maybe 2 or 3 customers. By day 3, we're up to a solid 8 to 10. But fast forward just 1 month, the cooling dhaba is completely packed, like literally no place to sit. People from neighboring villages are making the trip just to experience this awesome cooling effect, and Karela's fantastic hospitality. He goes from being the village joke to this highly respected entrepreneur practically overnight. But, of course, success always attracts a little turbulence. Just as Karela is hitting his stride, these totally inexplicable things start going wrong. First, the main water pipe, the literal lifeblood of the whole cooling system, gets mysteriously cut. The restaurant starts heating up. Then, suddenly the food, especially the dal, tastes awful. The exact same customers who are just praising Karela are now loudly complaining and walking out. His hard-earned reputation is literally being destroyed right before his eyes. Karela is just completely baffled. He fixes the pipes, but the sabotage just keeps happening. He quickly realizes this isn't just a string of bad luck. This is a targeted attack. Somebody out there is deeply jealous of his progress. Which leads us to a massive burning question. whose conspiracy was this? I mean, who would actually want to destroy this beautiful, hard-won sanctuary? Well, Corella decides to take matters into his own hands. He secretly installs a CCTV camera. Late that night, he sits down to review the footage, and he watches this masked figure sneak in, slash the pipes, and just ruin all the ingredients. But when the mask comes off, Corella's jaw absolutely drops. It wasn't some rival business owner trying to take him down. It was his own wife, Bindi.
When he confronts her about it the very next night, her justification is honestly just chilling. She tells him, "Because now everyone praises you, nobody asks about me." It's this tragic, twisted logic born entirely out of petty jealousy. Instead of, sharing in her husband's success, she felt completely sidelined by it. She was so consumed by losing the spotlight that she was literally willing to destroy their entire livelihood. Obviously, a massive emotional fight breaks out, and Bindi ends up packing her bags and leaving.
So, things settled down, right? Not quite. Let's look at Chapter 4, Alu's Betrayal.
With his wife gone, Corella is in a super vulnerable place emotionally. But his investor and friend Alu really seems to step up to the plate. Alu starts hanging around the dhaba way more, helping out with management, always offering these great words of encouragement. Naturally, Corella leans on him pretty heavily. He's thinking, wow, I'm incredibly lucky to have at least one genuine friend in my corner. Alu quickly becomes his absolute most trusted confidant.
But then, one afternoon, that entire illusion shatters. Cornelis steps out for a minute to grab some cash for Alu, but he ends up coming back a bit early. As he walks up to the door, he overhears Alu on a secret phone call. And the words he hears are just devastating. Alu says, "As soon as the right opportunity comes, the cooling dhaba will be ours."
So the crucial point is that this wasn't just some casual, spur-of-the-moment betrayal. This was a deep, highly calculated conspiracy. Let's break down exactly what Corella discovers while he's eavesdropping. First off, Alu. He isn't the rich, successful businessman he's been pretending to be. His own business is actually completely ruined. Secondly, the person on the other end of that phone call, it's Bindi. Yep, Alu and Bindi have been secretly colluding this entire time. Their master plan was to manipulate Corella, wait for the absolute perfect moment of vulnerability, and then steal this highly profitable business right out from under him. Which brings us to the final showdown, Chapter 5, Facing the Truth.
Now, Corella plays this incredibly smart. The very next day, he doesn't just explode in anger. He walks into the dhaba, acts totally normal, and lets Alu play the part of the supportive best friend. But then, very calmly, Corella pulls out his mobile phone. He reveals that the CCTV cameras, they were still rolling. And he plays the audio and video of Alu's treacherous phone call right to his face. The color just completely drains from Alu's face. He is totally trapped, pale, and completely speechless.
And right on cue, Bindi walks into the dhaba probably thinking they're about to execute the final phase of their little plan. But Corella is ready for them. He confronts them both with total clarity and just absolute confidence. He tells them, you tried to destroy my hard work, but I am not a victim anymore. And just like that, he decisively kicks them both out of the restaurant and out of his life for good. They literally have to leave with their heads hung in shame while Corella is left standing tall, fiercely protecting this amazing business he built with his own sweat and tears.
Which brings us perfectly to the profound moral of our explainer today, captured so beautifully in this final quote. Difficulties don't come to stop a person, they come to make them stronger. Think about it. Corella started with absolutely nothing. He faced mockery, sabotage, and literal betrayal from his inner circle. But he didn't let it break him. Instead, he used those trials to build boundaries, secure his business, and really recognize his true self-worth. So, as we wrap up today's session, I want to leave you with this one provocative thought. When betrayal or hardship inevitably knocks at your door, do you let it tear down your walls, or do you use the bricks they throw at you to build a stronger foundation? Thank you so much for joining me to break down this incredible story, and I really hope it inspires you to face your own challenges with that exact same unshakable resolve. Catch you next time.